Hello everyone! Welcome to this week's episode of Dope Black Vet, where we continue our series all about holidays and pets. This week we're going to talk about Halloween. I made me somewhat of a Minnie Mouse costume. You get it? Minnie Mouse. Anyway, so as we jump into advice and tips this week, we want to be mindful of the health and safety of your pet during this Halloween weekend. So Halloween is really important when it comes to your pets because there are a lot of things that they can get into that could cause a problem. The first thing we want to talk about is candy. Chocolate candy we all mostly know about being toxic to pets. Sometimes it can range from milk chocolate, white chocolate, dark chocolate, baker's chocolate. All this chocolate has its own level of toxicity. So if you're not sure about how much your pet ingests and if it's toxic or not, make sure that you Google the pet poison hotline so that you have that number handy to be able to receive advice after hours if your veterinarian may not be available. So chocolate can be toxic to dogs. Chocolate contains theobromine and caffeine, which are additives that can cause potentially heart issues in pets when it's ingested, especially if it's ingested in large quantities. So even though I say large quantities, sometimes it's dependent for sure on the size of the pet, the amount of chocolate they ingest, and the type of chocolate. So definitely make that call if your pet has ingested some chocolate. Another candy to be concerned about are sugar-free candies. Sugar-free candies contain artificial sweeteners. One that's particularly of concern when it comes to veterinary medicine is xylitol. Xylitol starts with an X, not a Z. So check your ingredient label for xylitol. Xylitol can cause low blood sugar and cause liver issues in pets when it's ingested. Once again, depending on the amount and the size of the pet, definitely determines whether or not it's a toxic level or not, and you'll have to discuss this with your veterinary professionals. So be mindful of your sugar-free candies as well as your chocolate candies because they can cause issues in your pet. Number 2, anxiety. We talked briefly about anxiety in pets a few episodes ago, so be mindful of anxiety because we got a lot of doorbell ringing going on, a lot of door knocking, a lot of trick-or-treating, a lot of kids, which are all combinations that when you have pets that are not used to these things that already have anxiety can make it worse. So make sure before nightfall, before trick-or-treating begins and all the hustle and bustle and parties and all those things, at least 30 minutes to an hour before you give your pets prescription anxiety medication, or you put them on their thunder shirts, or you give them over-the-counter anxiety medication to help combat this before it even becomes a problem. Number 3, you want to think about costumes. Your costume, your children's costume, your pet's costume. They all have little pieces, and pet costumes have lots of straps and buckles that can sometimes cause a level of discomfort in these pets. So what do? They try to take them off. Sometimes in the process, they can ingest pieces of the costume that could potentially lead to a foreign body that could cause an intestinal obstruction or some sort of blockage that could be an emergency to remove. So keep that in mind because your pet may wind up in emergency if they ingest a piece of the costume. So we've covered candy, we've covered anxiety, and we've covered pieces of costumes. But also being mindful that your pet may be a part of a pet costume contest. You may take them out trick-or-treating to wear costumes. You may even take them to be around other dogs at dog parks and all those things. So make sure your pet is up to date on vaccinations because your pet could potentially have a disease that could another pet could become exposed to and become infected from your pet or vice versa. So make sure your pet's up to date on vaccines so that they don't become ill or get a disease or give a disease to another pet that could cause another reason for them to end up in the clinic over the weekend. The last one that I wanted to cover is make sure that all outdoor pets are brought inside or placed in a safe place, whether it's a garage or a place where they won't be prone to a lot of the hustle and bustle once again and people going in and out because they may not be used to it. Ironically, this time of the year, especially if you have outdoor cats and black cats specifically, people can do a lot of malicious things to black cats. So bring your outdoor pets, especially your black cats, indoors to keep them safe. Many of you have maybe decided to rescue black cats from the shelter over the weekend, and you may have found it a little bit difficult to adopt because the shelters are not adopting them out at this time to keep them safe. So if you have a black cat that's outdoors or even indoors, make sure that they're in a safe place when it comes time to trick-or-treaters are coming by or even over this holiday weekend so that they'll be in a safe place. So maybe next week you guys will be able to adopt the lovely black cats, but this weekend is going to be a very, very, very slim chance that you will be able to adopt a black cat. So these are my tidbits for this week. Hopefully they help you, they help someone else. Share this knowledge with your friends and your family and anyone else that has pets and getting ready to celebrate this Halloween weekend. Remember, stay safe, wear your mask, stay protected, and keep your pets healthy and safe by being mindful of things that they can get into. Remember, your candy is important, your chocolate and your sugar-free, anxiety meds for your pets, making sure that they're not getting into little bits and pieces of costumes so that they can't choke or cause a biting hazard or possible intestinal foreign body, as well as bringing your outdoor pets inside so that they can stay safe. Hopefully this helps you. Have a great weekend. Bye.